Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today, we're diving into something a bit unusual for us.
Yeah, definitely not our usual lengthy report or, complex historical text.
No, exactly. Our source material is actually just a single anecdote. A really vivid and, frankly, deeply embarrassing story shared between two friends, Sam and Doll.
And our mission, if you will, is to take this tale of sudden, pretty intense terror.
Right.
And sort of unpack it. How does something as basic, as physiological, as needing the restroom,
Yeah, a mundane need.
suddenly morphs into this, full-blown encounter with mortality? It's fascinating.
It really is. It's like a micro-study in sensory deception, isn't it?
Totally. On the surface, yeah, it's just a funny story you tell years later, maybe over drinks.
Definitely.
But if we slow it right down, you can actually track the exact moment where, human logic kind of fails.
And the environment plays tricks on you.
Exactly. The environment betrays the senses, and sheer panic just takes over. We're essentially extracting the physics of a spectacular freakout.
Built on cultural misdirection, like you said.
Precisely.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because the setting, it's absolutely critical here. You, the listener, really need to visualize this. We're at a village mosque. It's gloomy. It's late at night. They're waiting for the Azan Iziak, the final evening prayer call.
And the key detail, the really crucial piece of geography.
The mosque is built right next door to a cemetery, a kubaran.
That single detail just sets the whole baseline, doesn't it? The atmosphere is already heavy.
Right. Nighttime, graveyard proximity. Your subconscious is already kind of buzzing, looking for something maybe a bit unnerving.
Yeah, it adds this weight to everything that follows, even before anything actually happens. It sort of primes the pump for fear.
So Sam and Doll are there, waiting. And Sam notices Doll is, well, he's not okay.
He's physically reacting to something.
Yeah, the source says he was Mengil Simicam-like, shivering uncontrollably, really shaking.
Wow.
And it's so intense that even before prayers start, Sam just makes the obvious joke, given the location.
Right, you would.
He asks him, Kau apaho? Dol. Kenerasu kantu kuburke. Basically, what's wrong? You possessed by a graveyard ghost?
It's the standard assumption in that context, isn't it? Dark night, cemetery next door, friend shaking violently.
Totally. But the truth, as Dole confesses, is way more practical, but also in its own way, kind of overwhelming.
He wasn't scared of ghosts at that point.
Not at all. He was just nocturkensing sangit, absolutely desperate to urinate, like bursting.
And that right there is the foundation for the whole mistake. The overriding power of a basic physical need.
It's that traveler's vulnerability too, isn't it? He's a stranger there. Bukan orang sini, as the source says.
Doesn't know the layout.
Exactly. So urgency just dictates his actions. Not observation, not checking signs. He just needs to go now.
Survival mode kicks in. He sees what looks like it could be a utility room door, maybe a restroom door, a bilic air.
And he just makes a run for it.
Yeah, main to jaja, as they say. Just barges right in. He completely bypassed any rational steps like, reading a sign.
Because his bladder was screaming louder than his brain.
Pretty much, yeah.
But this is where the story takes that sharp turn, right? From just a standard, oops, wrong room travel blunder.
Into something much weirder, a really bizarre cultural confusion.
Right, so he walks into this room, and the first thing that hits him, the initial sensory input, completely fools him.
The smell.
Yes. What did he smell, and why did that feel so wrong, yet somehow comforting at first?
Okay, so the room apparently smelled wonderful, really nice. It was dominated by this strong, sweet smell of rosewater air mawar.
Okay.
And also another traditional fragrance called pakai, which is often like a powdered incense or fragrant wood.
So these aren't just like random air freshener smells.
Not at all. Rosewater especially is super common in local rituals, often associated with, sanctity, cleansing, blessings. Pakai, too, used in purification rites.
Okay, so he's bursting for the toilet, rushes into what he thinks is a bilic air, and gets hit with this luxurious scent. How does his desperate brain process that?
This is the cognitive magic trick of the story. His mind performs this immediate, desperate justification.
Okay.
He thinks, wow, okay, this must be a really cangy mosque, very modern, sophisticated.
Right, like they've splurged on the facilities.
Exactly. He literally decides they must have installed fancy, spa-style air fresheners.
It's amazing.
Isn't it? The physical need, gotta pee, and the pleasant smell suggests cleanliness. They just momentarily align. Creates this totally false sense of security.
His brain is just laser focused on the function he needs a toilet, not the room's actual purpose.
Yeah. It's a brilliant example of expectation just completely shaping reality. He expected a clean bathroom, maybe basic.
Find an amazing smell.
And his brain leaps to the conclusion. 5-star mosque, luxury lose.
It really shows the power of cognitive dissonance, especially when you're stressed or, well, desperate.
Totally. He's standing there, presumably starting to, mentally prepare himself.
Ready to go.
Completely wrapped in this, holy sweet fragrance, absolutely convinced he's found the fanciest toilet in the village.
Wow. So how long do you reckon he was standing there enjoying the spa ambiance? What finally shattered the illusion?
It sounds like it was pretty instantaneous. The smell might have fooled his nose, but his eyes finally caught up.
What did he see?
He registered the other contents of the room, stacked neatly in a corner, a pile of white cloth.
Oh, no.
Burial shrouds. The keen kapan.
Oof. Okay, yeah. That's the emergency brake for the brain right there.
Yeah.
Instant stop.
Absolutely. I mean, think about that cognitive leap. You go from nice place for a wee to place where they prepare dead bodies in 0 seconds flat.
Yeah.
The source captures it perfectly. It says, Kepala hotak aku teres autoproses, ini bukan bilik air. My brain just auto-processed, this is not a bathroom.
The whole luxury toilet program just gets completely wiped. Terror protocol engaged.
Instantly. And the entire sensory interpretation just flips 180 degrees.
That beautiful smell.
Yeah, that lovely rose water and pakai suddenly doesn't mean spa. It means ritual cleansing. It means death preparation.
Oh, God.
Exactly. In this context, those fragrances are used to, purify the body, mask odors, imbue the space with sanctity for the deceased.
So the moment he sees the shrouds, his brain retroactively applies the correct context to the smell he had already registered.
Precisely. It's no longer a fancy air freshener, it's mortuary prep. And that realization is so severe, so shocking.
He just bolts.
Yeah. Lin Tangpukun Kilwar scrambles out in pure panicked chaos, total disarray.
And only then, as he's fleeing for his life, basically, what does he finally see clearly?
The one thing he absolutely should have checked on the way in.
The sign.
The big, clear, unmissable sign right above the doorway. Bilik Janeza.
The morgue, the deceased room.
Yep. Confirming the horrifying truth of his accidental intrusion. He wasn't just near the graveyard, he was standing inside the room where the recently deceased were prepared.
Okay, wow. That is terrifying. But why are we analyzing this, as a deep dive? Isn't it just a spectacularly awful, maybe darkly funny travel story? What's the real insight?
Because it illustrates this fundamental conflict perfectly.
Yeah.
The conflict between the mundane, everyday need and the existential.
Right.
His body had this immediate base requirement, urination. Simple.
Yeah.
But when he was confronted totally unexpectedly with these potent symbols of mortality, the shrouds, the morgue smell, the room's purpose, the fear response was just overwhelming.
It completely overrode the physical need.
Instantly. That's the core nugget here, I think.
Yeah.
That instinct for self-preservation, even when it just manifests as blind panic and flight, it trumps everything else. Comfort, physical relief. Gone.
So that makes sense. It clarifies that psychological mechanism. Okay, so Del rushes back out to Sam, obviously shaken to his core.
Right.
And Sam's reaction isn't like sympathetic horror.
Yeah.
It's, well,
He laughs.
yeah, immediate shoulder-shaking laughter. The source says, Terrigalak Kiesel, Bahunya Teranjid Hinjid. Just found it hilarious.
Well, you can see the absurdity from the outside, right?
Yeah.
The sheer scale of the mistake. But Dole quickly clarifies things for him.
Right, because the shaking isn't just terror anymore. There's another component.
A more immediate physical consequence of that terror.
He admits it. Satu halagi. One more thing. Akutari da tarkening sikit dalam selwar sebab terkejut hila.
Meaning
the shock was so profound, so absolute, that his original desperate need, well, it got met, just involuntarily.
He wet himself a bit from the sheer shock.
Exactly.
Wow, okay, that detail just anchors the whole thing back to a very embarrassing reality, doesn't it?
Totally. The intense existential fear literally caused a physical accident. And the panic didn't just override the need to pee, it kind of executed it, prematurely and messily.
Which adds that final urgent layer of pure humiliation on top of the terror.
So the immediate problem shifts again, right? It's no longer about finding a toilet or escaping a morgue.
It's damage control. How do I hide this?
Precisely. He immediately asks Sam if he can borrow a sarong, because he desperately needs to change his trousers before prayer starts, or maybe even just to go home without anyone noticing.
And the sarong itself is another great little cultural detail. It's practical, readily available in that setting, suitable for temporary modesty, shows that quick thinking. even in crisis.
Yeah, good point. And then Sam gets the last word. He closes the exchange with this perfectly witty summary of the whole disaster, which, again, relies on that deep cultural understanding.
What does he say?
He advises Dol. Lain kali periksa dulu papan tanda. Dol, jangan main reda ju bili korang dek mandi bunga terakhir.
Oh, that's brilliant. The last flower bath, mandi bunga.
Explain that reference.
Well, we talked about the rose water, the fragrances. Mandi bunga is often the term used for that ritual cleansing of the deceased, using fragrant flowers and water before they're wrapped in the shroud, the kain kapan.
Ah, okay.
So Sam is essentially telling him with a laugh, next time, check the sign, doll. Don't just barge into the room where people are getting their final spa treatment before burial.
It ties everything together perfectly, doesn't it? The shrouds, the smell, the sign, the initial need, all wrapped up in one hilarious, slightly morbid piece of advice.
What's really fascinating, stepping back, is how this entire catastrophe hinged on misinterpreting just one sensory input, the smell.
Combined with the distraction of that urgent physical need.
Yeah, it's a powerful lesson in selective attention, isn't it? Dole's brain literally filtered out the sign, maybe even the shrouds initially, because it was so focused on solving the immediate problem. It was only forced to confront the reality when it became unavoidable.
So I guess this deep dive really shows us that, profound insights aren't always buried in complex text.
Sometimes they're right there in your friend's most embarrassing moment.
Yeah, revealing that psychological hierarchy. Basic needs versus primal fears, and what happens when they collide head-on.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really highlights how environmental cues, especially when we misinterpret them under stress, can lead to these wildly disproportionate emotional responses.
He'll probably never smell rosewater the same way again.
I doubt it. That fear response, now linked to that specific scent and the image of white cloth, that could stick with him for a very long time. Memory's funny like that.
So we'll leave you with this thought then. Building on Sam's excellent, if slightly mocking, advice to his friend.
Check the signs, especially when you're desperate.
Right. And maybe ask yourself this. How often do your own immediate needs, or maybe your assumptions about a situation, cause you to completely misread the simple, obvious cues in your environment?
What signals might you be filtering out today because you're just too focused on getting where you think you need to go? What are you maybe failing to see or even smell?
Something to think about.
Until next time, stay curious. And please, double check the label on the door, especially if the restroom smells suspiciously luxurious. The amenities might be preparing someone for eternity, not just for your next meeting.